Welcome to Elite Rugby S&C podcast, the best podcast talking all things rugby and strength and conditioning. At Elite Rugby S&C, we provide athletes with strength and conditioning programs that provides you with everything you need to become a beast and take your game to the next level. No matter what stage of the year or season, Elite Rugby S&C has a program for you. You can try before you buy, so try our 7-day $7 trial to get a taste of what we offer here at Elite Rugby S&C. Also, sign up to our newsletter and receive free bonus content each and every single week. So take your game to the next level, become a beast, and join Elite Rugby S&C today. Today on the podcast, Wallaroos and Brumbies hooker Tania Naden joins me for a chat. Tania made her debut for the Brumbies in 2018 and has been playing in the Super Rugby competition ever since. In 2022, she made her international debut for the Wallaroos in the Women's Rugby World Cup. On this episode, we discuss the Women's Rugby World Cup. We talk about the upcoming Super Rugby season for the Brumbies. We talk about Tania's ACL injuries and how she bounced back from those injuries. We talk about pre-season training. And we also talk about the importance of strength and conditioning training. This was a fantastic episode, and I really appreciate Tania taking time out to speak with me today. So g'day, Tania. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining me today. It's fantastic to have you on. So how are you traveling post-World Cup, and how's the body and mind going?
Yeah, good. We've been back from World Cups in about 4 or 5 weeks now, so just settling in back to work, and yeah, the body's feeling good. It's feeling a bit lazy, but kind of needed that after like a huge campaign. So yeah, doing well.
That's awesome. How is it sort of taking you a bit of time to adjust going from such an intense tournament to back to sort of normal civilian life?
Yeah, probably the first 2 weeks when I got back, it was a bit weird. Like I just like from training every day, we like only had 1 day off a week other than and travel days, but yeah, settling back into normal life was a bit strange because yeah, it just made me feel a bit lazy, but it was good at the same time because yeah, it was a big campaign, so needed a bit of a rest.
You probably just got to remind yourself, hey, I did all this work and it's been a massive year of rugby going from Super W to all this training to the lead up to the World Cup. I deserve some rest, and some downtime, but it just takes some time to adjust back to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before we get into, the World Cup and Super W, let's take a step back. So growing up as a young girl, what sports did you play and how did you end up playing rugby union?
Yeah, so I started playing netball when I was about 7 and also played touch football growing up. So I represented Tuggeranong Netball Association here in Canberra in my junior years for netball, and I also repped ACT in both sports. So yeah, I was very sporty growing up. My mum would always complain, why I got A's in PE all the time, but never got A's in maths. So, but my dad loved it. He was always still proud. But yeah, those were the two sports that I played growing up, and I actually tore my ACLs, both ACLs, playing netball. So I was 13 and 15, so I stopped playing both of those competitively. I just remember it took a bit of a toll on me and at a young age. So, we definitely didn't have the rehab programs we have now for that. So, I stopped playing sport pretty much and just enjoyed being a kid. But yeah.
What age did you get into rugby?
Oh, so for rugby, I only started playing in 2017. So yeah, I took some time off. Well, I didn't play any sports in my kind of teenage years, but when it came to my 20s, I started playing socially touch football. And then I was asked to play rugby by one of my mates in 2017. So her name's Seppa. which is Josh Papali's wife. So he asked me to come and play for Union North Owls, Hoot Hoot, back in 2017, and I was really scared at the time because I was like, nah, I've never tackled anyone in my life. I've only played touch football, but she was like, no, you'll be fine. So yeah, that's how I started playing. And yeah, funnily enough, she actually she also brought on Yasmin Meeks, who's now Yasmin Clydesdale, to play for Uni North as well back then. And so she ended up playing for Aussie Sevens and in the recent Rugby League World Cup. So yeah, she's a good recruiter, my
Yeah.
friend. Seppa.
Yeah, she should definitely be in the recruitment game, just
Yeah.
getting players to go to certain clubs. That's awesome. You'd think after hurting both ACLs, you would go to a sport that's sort of less demanding, whereas you came to a sport where it's just full on contact and yeah, just doesn't sound like some people's cup of tea really going from netball ACL injuries to then a full on hardcore sport as rugby. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I was a bit apprehensive, but now I love it. As in contact. I was really scared to play. Yeah. So,
That's pretty cool. If you weren't playing rugby, do you reckon you would be just playing touch footy, or would you adventure out into another sport? Golf, tennis, something like that.
I probably just would have continued playing touch football just socially. Yeah.
It's fair enough.
But
That's cool. It's a cool story. So, 2021 Women's Rugby World Cup. What was it like playing and making your debut at the World Cup? How did you find that experience, and how did you find the level of competition as well?
yeah, so the experience was, as you can imagine, it was incredible. Something I'll never forget. Like made a lot of memories, made a lot of friends. So yeah, I was speechless after it. It was the best experience ever. And, the level of competition at World Cup was crazy, something I've never seen before. So it was really good to be part of that. But even within our Wallaroos team, the competition at that level was like, just as good, just training with those girls at that level. But yeah, just seeing the athleticism and the commitment of like women in sport and just being surrounded by it day in, day out over there was amazing. So yeah. Um, my debut, did you ask? Yeah. That was probably one of the best days of my life, other than my wedding. Yeah, it was incredible. It was a sunny day. Like it was perfect weather because we saw a few days of pretty dreaded rainy weather in New Zealand. So it was a great day. I felt like I did my job once I got off the bench. Once I got my chance, I just took it, and I had some focus points going into the game, which I feel like I executed them at the end of it. So yeah, and we got the win. So that was amazing, like for a debut, because then, the vibes post game were really good and happy, and my capping ceremony was really good. The girls got around me. So yeah, and it was really special to have my dad and my husband there for it. Yeah, they were the two main ones, two main people that I wanted there for a debut if I got it.
Mm.
So
Just
yeah,
like Dad, all those A's I got in PE, they paid off.
yeah, for sure. So yeah,
That's
no, that
awesome.
was really good to have them there.
Mm.
I told them before leaving to go World Cup, I said, look, I might not debut. I could go over there and not play any games. So just wait for me to give you a call. If I get the call up, you'll know, and you can book a last minute flight.
Mm.
Yeah, it was really special to have them there.
So, how did you sort of tell yourself to stay ready during that tournament? Because you weren't guaranteed to get on the field and get a cap. How did you sort of get your mindset and just wake up each day knowing that I could potentially play this weekend, I could potentially not, but I'm going to sort of give it my all? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Um, I don't know. I just kind of went over there thinking. I think I told myself and prepared myself to not play. So I think that actually just helped me. Then just like yeah, I just kept pushing every training session we had, just knowing that like anything can happen, injuries happen. That was kind of what I was like thinking about, like, because if someone in my position was to get injured, just to make sure that I'm ready and I've done all my reps of throwing, and I know what the game plan is and what my position should be doing if I get that chance to take the field. So I just made sure, I was just giving my 100% at every training and just trying to show the coaches that I can, if I get the chance, I can do it. So
Mm.
yeah,
Awesome. So
and I
you
got
stayed
it.
ready to get, so you didn't have to get ready.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so.
That's awesome. It's definitely a hard thing to do, but um, you just trust that process, and the hard work definitely pays off, and it definitely did. And you got to experience one of the best moments in your life, which is awesome.
I definitely think like I had to just be honest with myself going into it. Like it's the pinnacle of the sport, and to debut at a World Cup's not very common, I guess. Like that we had a lot of experience in the team that went over, so especially with the two girls that I play hooker that also play hooker, like they've had quite a few games under their belt this year. So yeah, I just need to be honest with myself and just say like you might not get that chance, but if you do, just make sure you're doing sort of all the work you need to do to get it if you get that chance. So
Mm.
and yeah, I got it. So I just
Yeah,
took it.
no, that's awesome. So sort of want to keep diving into that. Like, how did you get to the World Cup and play for the Wallaroos? Because you only started playing rugby at 2017, and
Mm,
then you made your debut for the Super W for the Brumbies at the Super W in 2018, to then making your debut this year for the Wallaroos. What do you put that down to? Like, what was the change from 2017 and the development to today?
mm. Yeah, so it's a bit of a long story because it's been a long journey, like, but I'll probably put it down to, yeah, perseverance and resilience and, yeah, probably hard work. So like you said, I debuted for the Brumbies in 2018, so that was shortly after my like first season of rugby in 2017. But yeah, I've gone through a few injuries since then and a few surgeries. So in 2019, I was ruled out of Super W because I had to get some surgery on my meniscus done, bit of a clean out from my ACL surgeries I had when I was younger. So I didn't play 2019. 2020, I came back and played Super W, and that was the first kind of year where I actually played hooker. So actually, when I debuted in 2017,
Hmm.
I came on as a 10. So I
Yeah, I was going to
started
say, I
back.
don't remember you from the 2018 season playing hooker, so it's really cool
Yeah.
to see you develop in a position that, if you haven't played hooker, you probably don't know how hard it is to actually throw that ball and
Oh, for
understand
sure.
how to, just throw it and get it spinning. That's the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Yeah. 100%. And yeah, so on that 2019, I was asked, this is before I was ruled out, I was asked to, if I would be willing to switch positions from like a centre to playing in the front row, which was a bit hard, but I knew that like if I was told not a lot of girls like to play hooker or front row, so this could be a chance to get more minutes on the field and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it on. So yeah, so in 2020 I played probably my first season of at hooker, but that was a bit part-time hooker position because I went back to club and had to play hooker and back row. But then at the end of 2020, I tore my ACL again. So it was a third ACL injury. That was training. I was training for the New South Wales Triggerosity Cup. So yeah, that ruled me out of 2021. But I spent the whole of 2021 rehabbing my knee. Spent about 15 months doing that, and yeah, that was a pretty big journey for me. Yeah, I was like I said, I had to be resilient in that time, and yeah, I end up returning to rugby this year, and that's sort of where it took off. I guess my back to rugby was pretty incredible, and I probably would put that down to my work I did with my rehab on my knee. Like I took 15 months, whereas some girls, some athletes can take a lot of a shorter period of time to do that. But I really wanted to focus on getting my knee right and getting all the muscles strengthened properly because I was, really sick of having these bad knee injuries. So I just wanted to make sure it was as strong as possible. So I wasn't back at that spot. So yeah, I made my return this year in a trial match against the Rebels right before Super Rugby season. So yeah, that's like part one of this journey. And yeah, I just was picked up into Wallaroos from there, I guess. And, yeah.
It's just cool to see, like you had these devastating injuries, and for some people that's it. As soon as an injury happens, they sort of don't have the opportunity to come back from it. But if you do put the work in your rehab and make sure that you're taking the correct amount of time and trusting that process and got a good community and support network around you, you can come back bigger, better, and stronger. And who knows what's going to happen? You don't have to be going out there to play for the Wallaroos or the Wallabies, but you could just be getting back to playing second grade or first grade. So I think it's just really cool to see that you did have a massive setback, but it didn't stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams as well.
Yeah, for sure. My goal for after when I tore my ACL, like I wanted to get my surgery done straight away so that I could start the rehab and just get back to playing rugby because at that point, at the end of 2020, like I was loving rugby. And so I was really keen to just get back into it. So I just put in the work so that I could return and just to play rugby. Didn't have to be Super W, just hours would have been good enough for me. And then my journey to my debut this year was pretty like incredible as well. Like I played my Super W season, and this is the first season where I kind of full time played hooker, like for both club, Super W, and at Wallaroos. So um, played hooker at Super W and got looked at by the Wallaroos coaching staff from there, which has been a bit of a goal for me for the last few years since being in Brumbies. Like I really wanted to get, more minutes on the field so that someone at that level could see me. And yeah, I got picked up, got asked to play in the Barbarians match in May against Japan. So that was like even just getting that phone call from the coach, the Wallaroos coach had my number. It was just like that was special for me enough. And then from there, I was added to the Ponies squad, which is like the Wallaroos wider squad. And then just worked my way into the World Cup squad that went away, which was also, another journey.
No, it's been awesome. I think one thing I've liked that I've seen over your development from when I first started working with you back in 2018, being an assistant for the Brumbies W. Like this year, it just seemed like you were just I don't know. You sort of had that chip on your shoulder, like you just came out and you were just running the ball hard, you were tackling hard, and it just seemed like a different person. It was just cool to see you take that step, and then by taking that step, you were able to live out a dream, which was awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Keen to see what's in store for next season, for the Brumbies.
Same.
So, how do the Wallaroos, sorry, improve and build towards the next World Cup?
Good question. I think, it starts now, really. Like, I think we need to start building a team, getting a core group of girls together, playing as much elite level rugby as we can, and just also keeping girls interested in rugby union. So having more opportunities and exposure and test matches, I guess, to be able to develop together. We've got the Super W season. It's quite short, and so I feel like that's we need more exposure for the girls to actually play at a higher level, so that they're come 2025 World Cup. Like they're
That
ready
was
to go.
probably really disappointing to see when I saw the draw come out. I was like, ah, damn, like it's still only 5 weeks. Like, come on, like you need to at least be 10 weeks. And I know there was talks where they were going to potentially, bring over the New Zealand teams as well and do that. Like, why haven't you explored that avenue? Like, you need to make the competition longer, or you have the Australian comp, and then you bring after that comp, you have the combined comp, the New Zealand teams. Like, you just
Mm,
need to do something like that.
yeah, I agree, 100%. Like especially like personally for me for last season, we had some really close games against the top sort of teams like Fiji, well, Waratahs, Reds. Like it would have been good to get that second chance against them because you know we Brumbies kind of found our feet towards the end of the season, so it would have been good to keep that going. But yeah, I feel like we just need more elite level type rugby matches so that we can all sort of develop more. Um, yeah, here in Australia, you see in the UK they have like is UK Premier 15s, like what's their comp, like 8 week 18 weeks or something like that. So we need something similar because kind of what I took away from the World Cup was that there were the teams that played well and made finals, like England, New Zealand, like they got girls that play together regularly, train regularly together. Like we need something like that to be competitive at the next World Cup, I think, because we have the talent. We definitely have the talent. We just need consistency with like playing together.
Yeah. You
My
can't
opinion.
expect much to improve with just a 5 week comp and
Yeah.
not training enough together in your selected states as well. And not every single state competition is that good. It's not that elite level like the Sydney compared to the Sydney comp to the Canberra comp. There's a bit of a difference. So if we have these girls wanting to push for Super W teams and their season's a lot longer, that means more opportunities are going to come at different states. So maybe more girls come down to Canberra, for more of an
Yeah.
opportunity, or go down to Melbourne for more opportunity and build up the local comp, which then builds and grows that state team as well. So just needs to grow, and we really do need to put the time and effort into it,
Hmm.
because if we want to be competitive at the next World Cup and take the next step,
Yeah.
it all starts, like you said, it starts right now.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And like it comes down to resources and funding and stuff like that, which we all know women in sport need more of it. So
Mm.
yeah.
Unfortunately, there's money there. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to find sponsors and grow the game. It just feels like, I don't know. We use that excuse, like it's and compare it to the men. Like, oh, it's not as good as the men's sport. It's like, well, there's your first problem. You're trying to
Mm.
compare it to something that's different. Only compare it to the competition last year for this comp. And I feel like we just make excuses for things that we can easily fix and improve upon. So I
Yeah.
think we all just need to do our part and make sure that we continue to grow the game, both men and women, and build towards the World Cups, which are the pinnacle of our sport. And we need to
100%.
perform well at them so we can continue to get sponsorship and money and continue to grow the game that we all love.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hi everyone. We just wanted to take a break from this episode. We hope you are enjoying this episode so far and also all the content we have produced. We appreciate all the support from our listeners and followers so far. If you haven't already, sign up to Elite Rugby S&C newsletter today. We provide you free, exclusive content each and every single week to our subscribers. Link in the bio. Remember to like, subscribe and share Elite Rugby S&C on social media to all your friends and families. So thanks again for your support, and now back to the episode.
So, over your journey to become a better rugby athlete, how has strength and conditioning helped you to perform at the elite level, and what have you learnt over your time doing strength and conditioning programs?
Yeah. So personally, it's helped me heaps, especially going through all my rehab that I've been doing for my knees. Like I've like learned that it's really important to have the strength and conditioning programs in place at this level. Growing up, I guess I didn't focus too much on that. Just kind of relied on my young talent to just to do the job. But I've definitely learned in recent years like how important it is to like have a good strength and conditioning program, and how that translates into playing rugby.
100%. And unfortunately, for some people, we don't know how important S&C is until we get injured. When we have to rebuild ourselves and rebuild an ACL, and then you understand, this is actually pretty important for a contact sport that has a lot of collisions, So
Yeah.
for anyone out there, old, young, new to the sport, boy, girl, like if you're playing rugby, you need to do a strength conditioning program. It doesn't matter what level you are at, but if you want to play the game that you do enjoy the most and stay injury free, like unfortunately we can't prevent all injuries, but we can prevent most injuries. And if you do get injured, you're probably not going to get injured as serious if you are stronger, faster, fitter, and more robust.
Yeah, 100%. And for me personally, like that's really true for me at the moment. Like I've had, I've come back from World Cup. People ask me like, how's your knee going? Because they know I've had my surgery, and I'm like, no, it's fine. Like I had no issues. I've had no issues. And I think that comes down to just the work I put in with rehabbing it and getting my strength and conditioning up. So yeah, it's definitely good for minimizing your risk of injury, like in any sport, I guess. But yeah, and just nutrition and recovery is really important as well, which is something that I lack.
It's something you just don't think about really until you, start taking your game a bit serious. You're like, oh yeah, actually getting 8 hours sleep is pretty important, and maybe not eating McDonald's 24/7 is like a way to go. Probably should eat some vegetables in between.
100%.
Yeah, but definitely have a sneaky cheat meal every now and again. You just can't deprive yourself all the time.
Yeah, there's the happiness in that, right?
So if you were going to go for a sneaky cheat meal, what would be the go-to?
My husband's gonna laugh. Kingsley's for sure. Kingsley's here in Canberra. Only available here in Canberra.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably have to explain what Kingsley's is because it's a foreign name for some people who aren't from Canberra.
Fried chicken and unbelievable chips.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. It's got some really good chicken chips. I really do like the gravy as well. It's different to other gravies that you have, but if you ever do come down to Canberra, there's a few locations around, and you can go get Kingsley's and definitely get back to us and see if you like it or not.
Yeah,
easy done. So, how do you become a successful hooker? I know you're sort of still new to the position, but what does a successful hooker look like in rugby, and sort of what are the key attributes and skills needed to play this position?
Yeah, so I still think of myself as a pretty new hooker. Like only really starting to have played in 2020 kind of full time now. But the key thing I've taken away from playing hooker is that it's all about process and throwing lineouts. It's a closed skill, so it's just about using the same technique and process every time, like regardless of where you're throwing to in that lineout. So whether it's at the back or the front, like it's about just keeping the same technique every time. And so for me, I've learned that you just got to get your reps in with those throws. So getting as many reps in at training during games, and outside of both training and games as well. Like I often head down to the school near my house and get throws into my husband, force him to come and be my catcher. So yeah, I think it's really important for people who want to play hooker to just think about it as just a process and something that it's repetition, and that's what personally that's what I've found that with my throwing is that I just need to keep the same technique and what feels good for me, and then in regards to scrums, like the hookers, we sort of control the scrum. So just, making sure the scrum is stable. So I guess doing the work in the gym to get that lower body as strong as possible to build a strong base, and just doing all the movements and the exercises to develop that.
100%. I couldn't agree more with getting that process down packed, because as if people have been listening to the podcast, that was my last position that I did play in rugby, was hooker. I started off as a number 8 way back in the day at sort of under 13s, and then was a bit too big, became a prop, and then I became a hooker. And it wasn't until my second year playing for the Tuggeranong Vikings, where we had our forwards coach, Phil. He made us write down the process, literally every single thing, and it was like probably a couple pages long, like, because we're detailing where my right foot went, left foot, breathing, like every single detail. And then he's like, cool, then I want you to shorten it, and then make it so basic that you can just do it and it just becomes automatic. And then I feel like that helps me so much, just understand the process that I go through and that little routine you go through to set yourself before a throw, because I could have messed up the throw before, or something else could have gone bad. But if I can come to this point in time in the game, get my routine, and then just throw it, you'll be in such a better mindset. And I think that helped me a lot, and I couldn't agree more with that. And there was also the one thing I thought about throwing was, I always thought it like a basketball shot, getting your reps in, like you said. I just thought it like that, just getting my reps in and just making sure that I got a good follow through. I'm getting a nice arc if it's going to the middle, or getting a different type of arc when it's going to the back. Like, I just thought about it as basketball, I'm just getting my reps in, following through, and just, it's probably the closest thing I'll get to getting a jump shot, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I sort of thought. But yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, it's all about process. And like you said, when I throw, like I still need to always tell myself this: if it's not my best throw, or if it's not straight, like, just to make sure to bin that bad throw, and just for the next throw, you just go back to that process. And that's just the main thing that I try to keep in my head. And mentally, I really struggle with throwing sometimes. Like, it's
hard.
I throw,
it really is hard.
Yeah, like, it's just you've got quite a bit of pressure on yourself it's like kickers in the game. Like, if we don't get, it's very focused on you. So, but I just try and tell myself, like, just bin it, next job type thing. We had a really good mental fitness coach with us at the World Cup. His name's David King. He was awesome, and my nerves, like, I was really nervous going into that debut game, so I had a good chat to him the day before, and he just gave me some really good strategies and tips on how to sort of manage those nerves going into the game. And he kind of told me to to make up a mantra for me to take out, and I've never been a mantras type person. I'm not a self-talk type person, but it fully helped me. Like, so I had a throwing mantra that I wrote on my wrist, and just kind of told myself it before I would take my throw. And yeah, it really helped. It really helped me zone into the one job that I had, which was to throw the ball to my player. So yeah, that was really good.
I love that. Having a mantra, and something that I like to do, it doesn't matter what it is just really focusing on my breath, just taking a deep breath and just calming yourself down, because the worst thing you could do going up to throw that ball is be super tense, and you just that feeling of being really, really tense, and then you're just like, oh shit, is this going to be good or not? And then you start getting in your head, and you just don't, and the throw just doesn't come out nice. So I think if you have that really good routine, that mantra that you just said, and then if you can just take a couple of breaths, I think you'll be all good. And I think that translates into literally anything, any position in sport, but also in life as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So pre-season is well underway for Super Rugby athletes and local rugby athletes here in Australia. How do you make the most of the upcoming pre-season training, and what are you trying to work on this pre-season coming up?
Yeah, so it's well underway. for us at Brumbies. 2 weeks in, 2-3 weeks. So for us Wallaroos girls, it wasn't mandatory that we sort of attend because they kind of gave us the option like to have a rest or to start training if we wanted to. But I thought about having a rest but I didn't want to come back in the new year and sort of be behind the girls in strength and conditioning. So I've been going. It's been pretty low intensity, so it's been good. At the trainings, we've got a lot of new girls, a lot of new faces in the squad, so that's been really good. For me, for the pre-season, my work-ons would be running, conditioning, just trying to maintain that, and just work on for throwing would be like developing my upper body strength, just trying to build a bit of muscle and power for my back balls that I'm throwing. Yeah.
Easy done. But yeah, if you have just come off a long season, don't just go full 100% into straight into the preseason. You slowly got to work your way up. You know, if you go too hard too quick, you're going to be sitting on the sideline for a little bit, unfortunately. So take that approach of you're getting those reps in slowly and build that intensity. But it's fantastic that you got some individual goals. You know, you're trying to work on and improve. Like even the best players in our game have got to work on stuff. So it's really cool to see that you're still trying to work on it, even though you're a Wallaroos player, you know, at the elite level. But it's just really cool to see, players continue to work on those 1%ers. And I'm really excited to see how that backball goes this upcoming Super W season.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So how do the Brumbies improve this year in the Super W season? What are the key areas of the team sort of trying to focus on? And besides working on your throwing, is there anywhere else that you're trying to work on your game as well?
So first question, how do we?
Yeah, there's a few questions in there. Yeah, it's 3 questions. So
this year, so I reckon we just build on what we were building towards last year. Like I feel like we were really getting somewhere. So but like I said, it took us a while to get into the competition. But if we just keep building on that, I think we've got a really strong set piece from a forwards perspective. I think we've had that for the last few years, so our scrums and lineouts have been pretty good. So if we can sort of continue to build on that, and then just with the new girls coming through this squad, we've got a few regional and Sydney girls that have been named in this wider squad. With them coming through, I think comes new talent, and so I'm seeing that already at the preseason that we're having. So just making sure we can translate that, I guess, that natural talent into our game plan that we'll have in the new year. Haven't really come together as a squad to talk about what we want out of the season next year yet, but yeah, I'm hoping we do that soon so that we set sort of a standard now leading into the season next year.
100%. I think it's going to be very exciting because yourself and Grace Kemp are in such great form. Like it's just going to be cool to see how you take all that experience that you just had at the World Cup and then apply it into Super W. And then you got players like Gab Peterson and Pesi Palu, like again, just ready to rock and roll next year. So you got some good ball runners in the forwards, and then you got some pace out there in the back line as well. So it'll be really cool to see how the team goes next season.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited too. And I think playing so closely with the Wallaroos girls and the different, the Tars girls, the Reds girls, kind of come to know what they play like more closely compared to like previous seasons. So, and I know like I just feel like we fear some of these teams in the Super W, and I just don't think we need to, and I think we can be competitive next year. So I'm excited to see what we bring to the competition next year.
100%. And you got a new coach in Scott Faver as well, which is going to be cool to see. And then you still got the very experienced Mick Burrows there as well. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah, Mick's awesome. He's just so technical, and he's really the driving force in our set piece, I'd say. Like he's just taught saw the little things and the little on percenters, and when we get that right, that's why our scrum and line out work. So yeah.
I am trying to get Chigga onto the podcast. I did mention to him during the Brumbies 18th season. He's still thinking about it. So the next time you're at training, just ask him, are you going to get join Kieran on the podcast yet? So
I'll talk to him on Saturday.
Yeah, he's a good character. I love him.
He is.
So the next part of the podcast, getting into the back end, I don't want to keep you here too much longer. So the Triple H. So Triple H is just asking 3 questions, getting just trying to better understand your story. So the first one is hardship, and we might have already talked about it here with the ACLs, but can you think of a hardship in your rugby career that sort of stands out, and how did you get through the hardship, and was there anything that you learned during that process as well?
Yeah, so I think we've spoken about it already. The hardship was that ACL tear in 2020. I definitely think I learned a lot about myself during the rehab time, and like mentally and physically on how to push myself to get through it. So yeah, that I just kind of told myself, like I said, like I just want to get back to playing rugby. So I really just put in the work at the gym, making sure I sort of strengthened my body to get back to playing rugby. And with that hardship, I had a lot of good support. My husband was really supportive and all that. So yeah, just having the right people around me was really helpful to sort of support me to coming back. And even just Brumbies, like they were really supportive with the physios and getting me back to start my running, straight line running. Like I kind of did that part of my program with the girls, so that was really good to not just be doing it on my own type thing.
100%. Unfortunately, we do have to go through hardships to sort of understand ourselves a bit better, and really think about what we want to sort of achieve in this life, and also understand who's there to help me sort of get through this hardship as well. So fortunately, we do all have to go through it, but if you do see the sort of that light at the end of the tunnel, it's definitely a good thing to go through, and you'll definitely come out a better person. So the next one, hero. Who is your hero or heroes, and why is this person your hero?
Probably both my parents, for different reasons, but yeah, from a sporting perspective, my dad has always really championed me and supported me throughout all my sports, but especially in rugby. So in Polynesian culture and Samoan culture, it's not common for women to play rugby. It's what the men do. So when I started playing, my mum was pretty disapproving of me playing, and I don't think it's because she just thought, oh, women shouldn't play that sport. I think it was more just seeing me get hurt or seeing me get tackled. She didn't want to see that, and I think just in her generation, she just would have seen men play, and my brothers played, so she wasn't quite on my side with that, but my dad was, and that was really, he's just always been there for me, and always backed me from the start since I told him, oh, I want to play rugby now. And he loves watching me play. So yeah, I'd say he's probably my hero. And he's always the first one I look for after the game. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Shout out mum and dad.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the cool thing now is rugby and just sort of rugby league and AFL, it's starting to get normal to see women playing that sport, and rugby, like when I was growing up, it was just a guy thing. There was a few girls that did play, which was really cool, but it's just nice to see that it's normal. It's not just rugby's a guy sport, because it's not. It's made for everyone. So it's really cool that that's starting to become the new norm, and little kids are starting to play it younger. They're starting out young and wanting to progress through. It's not like they have to stop at 14 and go play another sport. They can continue to play this sport for as long as they want to.
Yeah. And for me as well, growing up, like I didn't really have, I don't feel like I saw many role models or, women playing rugby. So I didn't really know it was a thing either until I sort of in my adult years saw that girls were playing more. And yeah, just a disclaimer, my mum's very supportive of me now playing. She loves it. But it was just, at the start, a bit apprehensive about it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes time. I think for me, going over to rugby, because I started off at soccer, mum was a little bit hesitant, like, I don't want you playing that tough sport, like, so, but then she grew to like it. And then I think she was really happy to see me play a sport that I really enjoyed. So parents, it just takes a while for you to get used to. We're not going to get hurt too much, it's
Yeah.
just fun to hit someone else.
Yeah.
And the last one for the Triple H highlight. What is the highlight that sort of stands out the most in your rugby career? And I think we've already touched upon this as well.
Definitely my debut at the World Cup.
Mm.
And just being in the Wallaroos this year for the first time. It's definitely got to be the number one.
Yeah. I think it might be the number one for now. I think there's still many more highlights that's going to happen in your career, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you, mate.
Thank you. I hope so too.
So the last couple of questions: who would you say is the best teammate to room with, and who is the worst teammate to room with? This can be both Wallaroos and Brumbies, if you want to just choose one of those.
Yeah. Best Wallaroos roomie would have to be Tussie Laffey. Yeah, we just formed a really close relationship and friendship. So, but she did make us late for a few team meetings, and she also lost her keys, like her room key, pretty much every day. So I guess that makes her the worst as well.
Yeah.
Both best and worst. No, I didn't have any bad roomies, to be honest. Everyone was pretty good. I'm pretty chill as well, so not really fussed on too much. But like, I wouldn't really want to be with someone who snores. So, and I wasn't. So that was good.
That's good. Do you want to name and shame anyone from the Brumbies?
No, my roomies were good as well for Brumbies. Bessie, I'll name and shame Bessie Palu because apparently she snores. So, so I've heard.
Nah, that's good. So who should my next guest be on the podcast? Is there any sort of names that come to mind that you think teammates or coaches that should jump on and have a chat?
I reckon Grace Kemp
Kempy?
would have good yarns, and she's a pretty big up and coming star, and she's quite young, so she'll have a good perspective on what her rugby journey's been. Yeah.
Easy done. All right. I have sent her a message, and she is pretty keen to jump on as well. So it's a good answer. So keep an eye out for that episode. But where can listeners find you on social media if they do want to reach out and sort of connect with you and maybe ask you a couple of questions?
So my Instagram is just Tania Naden. I have Twitter, but I don't use it very much. So yeah, best to reach me on Instagram.
Easy done. So that's all my questions for today. Thank you for joining me today, Tania. It's been awesome to understand your story a lot better and listen to that World Cup experience that you had, and it was just awesome to see that all that hard work paid off. And there's still much more rugby that's going to be played for you, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been awesome.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of Elite Rugby S&C podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and rate Elite Rugby S&C on Spotify and YouTube, and make sure you follow us on Instagram. Sign up to become a beast via the link in the description or via Instagram page. Also, remember to sign up to our newsletter to receive free bonus content each and every single week. So don't wait, make that good decision, and join Elite Rugby S&C today and take your game to the next level. Thanks for listening.